When I come into my more and I say edit action, you'll be prompted of either the classic designer or the graphical one. So most people are probably been using the classic designer since day one, probably what they're most used to. What you probably aren't realized is there are some new features that appear in the graphical action designer that won't ever appear in the classic. For example, the ability to start to do things like decision blocks. So, for example, something comes into here, I may want to decide on actually what I want to do. Do I want it to go and create something? So maybe I want it to go and create me a new record. Maybe I want it to go and update or create a child record. I can actually start to branch this off and go into different avenues. So sorts of things like that that you can start to do. There's things like run for child, or run for a collection, for example, which is maybe using an API to actually go and retrieve back some records. You can actually get it to now come in and step for a collection of records and do some updates. These sorts of things aren't going to be available in the classic designer. Longer term, we probably will eventually depreciate the classic designer. But as I said, there's lots of new features in here. Things like pop-ups where you can actually make decisions. So as you saw with what I did earlier. And again, you can just start to drag and draw these and build these out in a much more simpler approach than what you're used to with the classic designer. And the nice thing is this now also does it in order. So for example, if I did put this as a step 1 to 2 to 3, it's going to do them in order. Whereas in the classic one, it kind of had a little bit of a mind of its own and kind of did things sometimes in some random orders. So there's definitely some bits that exist over and above in here. And as I say, also if you then go into some of the emails, maybe I say send an email, for example, and go into here, there's also this kind of ability that now when I start to build things out, maybe, for example, I use the JSON functions. It's also going to give me the ability and context around what's expecting down here. So it actually gives me some information about that expression, what I'm doing, what's it about, and gives me the ability to be able to start typing away what it is. So maybe, for example, I wanted it to be, I don't know, a certain field, it starts to kind of give me these and gives me all those functions. So it's really a little bit more simpler than that whole approach that you get in the classic. So again, I'd urge most customers to start to get used to this, understand exactly how to use it. As I say, it's very intuitive, but also you're going to find there's a lot more functionality that exists in here over and above that classic version. And the nice thing is you can pick on anything that was created in classic. So for example, if I come and pick on some of these records, I can see those same ones. So for example, maybe it's one of these ones. I can click into that and see exactly what it was done. And I can actually start to go ahead and adjust that from within here if I wanted to. So don't be scared that if you've created it, it's not going to transfer across. You can simply pick that up and start to use those from in there. Anything, Mark, you reckon to add to that?